Hey guys, I'm excited to be with you again today, and I want to begin by quoting one of the most important verses in the Bible. In Genesis chapter 12, verse 3, God told Abraham, the father of the Jewish people, "I will bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you, and all the peoples of the earth will be blessed through you." And that's actually the verse that I wrote at our dedication service on the platform in the new sanctuary. That's such a key verse, and I share that verse with you because I want you to notice that God has always had a plan to use the nation of Israel to be a blessing to all the peoples of the earth. When Jesus ministers to the Syrophoenician woman, it is rooted in this divine mandate and mission that goes all the way back to Abraham. And yet, even with that as a background, as we go through the passage, we have to be honest that this seems to be an awkward moment in Jesus' ministry. In verse 24, we read, Jesus left that place and went to the vicinity of Tyre. He entered a house and did not want anyone to know it, yet he could not keep his presence a secret. Now, we will talk about why Jesus wanted to keep his presence in the area a secret tomorrow. But for today, let's just focus on the fact that Jesus was unable to keep it a secret, and he ends up encountering this Syrophoenician woman who doesn't have much going for her to commend her in the eyes of Jesus. First, she's not invited. Second, she's a Gentile. But most importantly, third, she has a daughter who's possessed by a demon. None of these things would have made her a likely candidate for a miracle, and the last two would have certainly made her ceremonially unclean. And yet this woman has faith in Jesus. She believes in him, and that faith, that belief, it makes all the difference. I can't help but believe that Mark is trying to contrast the Syrophoenician woman with the religious leaders we saw in the last passage. Those guys were completely ceremonially clean, and yet they did not believe in Jesus. They had no faith in him. But of course, before the miracle happens, we have to acknowledge that when we read these words that Jesus uses, they seem super harsh, referring to the Jews as children and the Gentiles as dogs. And yet, despite these seemingly harsh words, there does seem to be a kind of playful spirit in the conversation. This woman knows that many Jews in Jesus' day referred to the Gentiles as dogs. And yet she responds by not only referring to herself as a dog, but referring to Jesus as Lord. This is remarkable. She's the only person in the book of Mark who calls Jesus Lord. Now think about that. She's a Gentile, but somehow she understands who Jesus really is. Now, in many ways, I think that Jesus being heralded by a Gentile anticipates what's going to happen in Mark 15:39 when another Gentile, the Roman centurion, sees Jesus on the cross and comments, "Surely this man was the Son of God." Now, according to church history, Mark wrote his gospel while he was serving under Jesus' disciple Peter in the church in Rome. Now, Rome had a lot of Gentile Christians there, and in the midst of all those Gentile Christians, who were often looked down on by the Jews, I have to imagine that Mark drew some comfort from knowing that the Jews didn't have a lock on the things of God. It was actually Gentiles who were the first to identify Jesus as Lord and Jesus as the Son of God. As he wrote his gospel, Mark must have recognized that the old categories of clean and unclean were being swept away, and that God's original mission and mandate from Genesis chapter 12, verse 3 was going to be fulfilled. Because of Jesus and through his disciples, all the peoples of the earth were going to be blessed. And that is still our mission today.